Mazel, it was Tactical versus Ghost. Tactical definitely got the best of Ghost in that game, as the Kaisa was very much on point. As we do have an opening Vi being picked up here by Tomio, another pick that he has always played and played well.
Like insta-locked.
I'm curious if we get a Trundle now coming in from SolidSnake. Not exactly a pick that you can play the fastest with, but definitely something that could be an option here if Estral wants it. I say that. No, it's Lee Sin time.
All right, the LeBlanc was also let through, as we didn't get to talk about the bans, but that was a difference in game number 2 from Estral. They left it open, and now you have a very, very lethal duo in the mid jungle for Estral.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny because Insanity has also played the LeBlanc already in this tournament, as LB saw buffs and Lee Sin saw buffs before he builds 40 AD. I think 41 is the breakpoint exact. As they put some more power in his base damage and took some out of his bonus AD ratios for the Q, the Sonic Wave. So this is a stronger combo early on. And again, if you're a team like Estral, it really is kind of on Snake and Cody to win. And I can't blame them for taking combos like this when I look at the games yesterday. And it was SolidSnake and Cody that really stepped up to make sure that they took care of the Tigres. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see this one coming out again. I think that we talked about getting creative when your top laner is auto-filled. This falls in line with, I guess, getting creative. Something that may not work as well in this meta, but is a proven combo that has worked in past ones that did get buffed up on this patch. So at least in the LeBlanc it is.
And your side lane pressure is actually so incredible. Like you can find big picks in the side lane with the LeBlanc Lee Sin combo. I have to talk though. Yes, we get the Gragas. We talk about that later. I gotta talk about LG though, man. They have set a wall. They have drawn a line in the sand and say, if you can't out mechanic us, if you can't outpace us early on, we are just going to take team fight after team fight in the late game.
That's a lot of wave clearance scaling they have with the Sivir and the VIktor. But with Sivir, always have to mention or talk about, is Sivir going to be able to auto-attack in fights? The ability for LeBlanc to delete a Sivir. Spell Shield is a big help there. But still, LeBlanc, even later, can have pressure to try and chunk you out. So do think it's important. There's going to be a point in the game where Tactical doesn't have Vamp yet and could be pressured by the LeBlanc. But yeah, the ability to clear waves quickly is one way to play defense against Lee Sin LeBlanc for sure, because you're right about that side lane pressure, Mazel. That just the reach and the ability to find kills with the single target damage that they have between these two. But hey, if you can delete those waves with VIktor and Sivir, that's less time where you might be vulnerable in that side lane, whether you're catching a wave or pushing one. So interesting, as LG again showing a lot of defense, and defense for Shintalx as they're gifting him 2 bans to try and pilot this Gragas into whatever FakeGod wants after York and Aatrox are off the board.
Yeah, no Malphite ban this time around. But we do see trying to whittle down what FakeGod can at least go with. I do still like the Gragas just because you can always have that team fight aspect that we were talking about, at least impact with the cask and everything, really space clearing. And we saw some good setups for him on that pick just yesterday. The Lucian ban is going to signal that LG do not want to deal with a fast-paced 2v2 down there for Ghost.
I think very reasonable, given that, well, Estral is already looking to blow up the game with a Lee Sin and a LeBlanc. So, going to deny the Rakan. Valid pick that Zeyzal could have taken with the Vi to pair into the Lee Sin and the LeBlanc. That's a good follow-up / chain CC there. Kind of curious to see if he grabs something like a Nautilus here, as depth charge can be very valuable into Lee Sin LeBlanc. And also you have a pretty positive matchup into Rakan, as it looks like tank duty for FakeGod up on the top side. Definitely has the ability to play carries into the role-swapped mid lane to top lane streamer in Shintalx for today's match. But hey, FakeGod playing the Sion thinks it's the right pick this game with that Lee Sin LeBlanc showing. Can't really blame him. Definitely going to force a hyper carry from Ghost if you want to be able to deal with that Sion later on.
Are we worried at all for LG? I mean, they have one of the bread and butter team fight comps, but no real wiggle room in the earlier game besides Tomio.
I think it's going to be a Xayah. I like Xayah Rakan, but Xayah can get outranged later on by VIktor and poke down a little bit, and you kind of can deal with Sion, but not really. It's not as easy as some other ADs, so I'm worried about Estral, just because if they don't get off to the races, then yes, things get difficult quickly. Whereas I think for Luminosity Gaming, a wave clear is a defense, and I think it's one that's not talked about enough in League of Legends. Your ability to delete a wave, and clearing the wave can really dictate, you know, why, like, how many seconds you're leaving yourself vulnerable, or how many seconds that you were showing on the map before you can fog. They have so much wave clear between the Sion, the VIktor, and the Sivir. I think the windows where they might be vulnerable are just going to be a lot less for Estral, who kind of struggle to match that wave clear later on in the game. So do think that the first 2 clears for SolidSnake, he's going to have to get something done or do something aggressive, because if not, I will worry for Estral after that.
Yeah. I gotta say, this might be the most blatant, let's see what you can do, Estral, that I've seen in terms of like the difference in drafts from both teams. And it's really LG coming off a lot of confidence from that game number 1, begging Estral to show them what they've got. And I think this is a moment for Estral to step up. I think you really need to rely on that mid-jungle duo, the homegrown talent that's really been showing out for Estral. That was a key piece to them winning against their nightmares at SGM just yesterday, and they're going to need to overcome some new nightmares today as we get into game 2 of LG versus Estral.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
You know, Mazel, I'm just pausing to honor the Xiaos that are existing anymore.
That are
in LPL,
non-existent.
but also don't exist here, you know. That's all right. Getting into this game, we did see SolidSnake and Cody play an effective Lee Sin LeBlanc game themselves yesterday against the Tigres. Has been a champion that Insanity has played as well in that LeBlanc and played to a high level. He got the choice of the VIktor into it this time around. And we'll see if he's able to force that LeBlanc out. What I always like to kind of say about VIktor, this guy, he's a strong laner, he's a strong scaler, he's a terrible roamer. You don't want to leave lane a lot as VIktor. You want to make sure that you're getting your stacks and playing with your Airy in this case, is to play the strongest lane you can as Insanity. We'll have some advantages in the Cody early on, just given the strength of VIktor and the Airy and the setup he went for with bone plating.
And I just want to take a little bit of time to highlight SolidSnake a little bit. I think the story of this guy has been really interesting. We have a lot in the NACL stories of, you know, players going from playing to coaching, back to playing. But this is one that feels like it fits well, right, with Estral. You have a guy who was coaching Isurus, had come in for this big overhaul of the roster for Estral, and again, has been a linchpin for them in terms of the proactivity that they have on the Rift, and something that was really on display over the last couple series for them.
I mean, he's been big in getting this team leads. There's no way around that one. So we'll see if SolidSnake is up to the task on the Lee Sin yet again, as his team is going to need a lead in this one. If A, they want to have success given who their top laner is, but B, also just that has been the winning formula for Estral no matter who is in that top lane. It has been Snake and Cody trying to play fast, get leads, and play from there.
And we'll see if the bounce actually helps out Shintalx a little bit in the top lane. Still getting pressured pretty early. We're going to see a 2v2 kickoff in the bot side too, as both junglers will be pathing bot again, just like in last game. See how early they can get some shakeups in the bot side at least. Estral looking to keep priority as much as they can across mid and bot.
Shintalx already having some difficulties there on the top side on the Gragas.
Yeah.
Again, Sion can be quite the stat check. And the wave clear and just the strength, the decimating smash that brings early on
this
is tough.
freeze is brutal.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get the wave, but you can see Shintalx already not able to interact much up there on the top side. And meanwhile, well, the defense for Tactical is simply just to keep on pushing in those waves with the Sivir.
Push.
Yeah.
It enables LG's win conditions, though, because something we've talked about so much for LG is the combination of the trio of Insanity, Zeyzal, and Tomio once they get roaming onto the map, and Zeyzal is already doing so. He will be back in the lane, though, but he was already looking out in the mid lane, going for some of that deep vision into Estral's bot side jungle.
Yeah, I think Tomio was kind of hoping to maybe get a positive trade mid and then go invade the respawn Raptors of the Lee Sin, but gonna take the bot crab, not gonna cross over to that side of the map instead. May take a whiff at this bot lane. Winsome does have that heal
Hit him,
available.
Winsome.
Flashes are up.
Let's go.
Winsome's gonna stop that base, but still wrapping up the clear here. Tomio just make sure that his Sivir is safe, and yeah, everyone's going to get a really nice reset on this side of the map for Luminosity Gaming. So that is important. Part of why you end the clear here on Vi is that Vi with the denting blows the W, you really unlock the ability to do an early dragon. And I think that's exactly what Luminosity Gaming is going to look at here with Tomio. Take these couple of camps and the Raptors, then go get the dragon.
I actually don't think I've ever seen this. I don't think I've ever seen two supports freezing each other's waves. Unfortunately, I think Winsome lost out on that trade with the health bar. But he's going to actually get his back potentially stopped here from Zeyzal. Yeah, just walking up to make sure. And the resets have come out from both ADs. Look at their inventories. 2 long swords for Ghost, but a pickaxe for Tactical. And that wave clear is going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Tomio is going to go Raptors in the Dragon here. And as long as that wave clear continues, they should be able to do the Drake. This Vi has a lot of strength. Yeah, good looking mid for the control ward first.
Let's go. Got some trade. He was hitting FakeGod. That's all that matters.
It's pretty tough up here, man. It's
oh, Cody. Was it worth the backstop? I don't know about that.
SolidSnake was able to get in. He yoinked something. Cody did get 6, and Snake's going to take the fight. He will force this Vi out, but Zeyzal's coming.
Zeyzal's here. Perfect timing. SolidSnake flashes. The blast cone, though. Can he hit? He's not in range to follow through on the Sonic Wave. And that'll be SolidSnake forcing Tomio out of his jungle.
Honorable attempt, honestly. And while that was going on, I mean, Cody was able to get a little bit of work done into this VIktor. As Insanity going to be down some CS. Does have the double ruby crystals. As he's going to go Roa and is going to try and live this lane. But a bit of an edge there for Cody in the mid lane. As again, him and Snake have to get things done. It's something. The question is it going to be enough? Because, of course, time very much the ally of Luminosity Gaming in this game.
Kronos is not on their side. As it's going to be really important for them to just have any advantage, albeit wanting a larger one is going to be the case, but any advantage we'll be happy to have for Estral. As we have the reassignment of the lanes, Shintalx will move away from the grub side of things, where it is spawning about a minute and 20 and come down towards bot side.
We got a lot of action going on mid here.
Oh, a 3v3 over here. Winsome dashing out there, but does get locked out of the Chaos Storm. At least the Arcane Storm coming through for them, as they don't end up finding too much there. There will be some summoner spells burn from both sides.
Winsome and Insanity both lost Flash there, so wondering if that started with a Flash Grand Entrance to get Insanity's Flash. Cody's Flash, might have been burned earlier. Not sure if it was from that play or mid-sequence when Snake was going in, but pretty heavy trade. And again, I mean, Insanity's the one that gets somewhat worse half of it. He's down 20 now. Which isn't too shabby.
Oh no, Tomio's camera fell over. I was like, what is this vision that we're seeing? It's a water bottle. All right. Well, hopefully he gets that fixed. But that's
clean the bottom of your desk, Tomio.
Right now.
You can't have trash on the floor. That's a distraction in your setup.
It's on his desk. It's fine. I think it's on
his
desk.
We got to be adults here. You know, I'm the type of streamer that steps away from my stream to make sure I have clean dishes and clean plates.
Yeah. Why don't we just pause right now and have him take everything off his desk?
Yeah, we can't do the opposite. It's a distraction.
Yes. Anyways, we're getting set up for some objectives right now. There's going to be a decision to be made. Estral have moved a lot of bodies up towards top side for the grubs. Dragon is up on the other side. Does LG just want the trade?
I mean, I think with all the skirmishing, we did really see Luminosity Gaming. They weren't able to get that early Dragon timer that we have seen them very consistently go for when they pick Vi. I think that kind of came from the skirmishing we saw Estral establish. And yeah, I mean, Luminosity Gaming, they're looking at their comp. They're looking at the wave clear saying, we don't want to fight now. We can give away 3 grubs. We're going to see how bad it gets. But if I look at the map at the moment, it is Shintalx being very much starved out of the game. As LG have put a lot of resources into this bot side, and Shintalx... And I feel like the approach as the sub for him has very much been like, I'm going to make sure I don't lose this one for my team.
Yeah.
I do think that he could have played a little bit more aggressively in a few moments.
It's hard, though, man.
It is hard, but also, I mean, sometimes your job as a top laner is to, if you die for a wave or a wave and a half, sometimes that's worth it. Just to burn the time.
He's a mid laner.
Exactly. he's got to learn, man. You got to learn by limit testing.
You got to learn on the job. Learn in the fires.
Seriously.
As,
he is the meme of like, I accidentally became important at my job.
He really is. Shout out to Shintalx. He's been one of my favorite stories in this tournament, even if it's backs against the wall for him along the way. But this is just typical LG, man. They are not going to force anything. They literally waited for the dragon take anyways. They are just saying, Estral, if you don't have a massive lead, you're going to have to answer later on. And they want to stay away from giving Estral any of those early advantages as much as they can.
I think it's smart. I mean, that Sion's going to be unkillable, and they already have a 1.5k gold lead. You have a comp with Sion, VIktor, and Sivir, and that means you're already ahead, quite frankly. So I think the 3 grubs for the Dragon trade is okay for Luminosity Gaming, as we'll see really if and when the first play of the game comes from them. Because if I'm Estral, I think it's about time. I mean, the Snake's getting close to the Eclipse, and it's about time to start, you know, making some Lee Sin LeBlanc things happen, or at least trying to make some Lee Sin LeBlanc things happen.
Got to see some attempts at least. See that combo come to fruition here, but slowly but surely, that lead has been developed just purely off CS as Ghost and Tactical going at it in the 1v1. The spell shield will be popped. The Blade Caller not going to do nearly enough damage for Ghost, but they do get some push prio in bot side at least.
Tactical is going to stick around for that one, nothing else, as he'll just take the reset, as we do have a cannon wave, and Ghost takes the plate for himself. So, well played by Ghost. Again, the Xayah this game, I think you have some advantages into the Sivir, as that Rip can be pretty dangerous against Sivir, as she's at low range, but I think for just where this game is at, again, I'm so happy to be Luminosity Gaming in this game state, because I'm hitting tab, and my top laner has a Titanic Hydra versus a Tear and a Ruby Crystal.
Dude, that's despicable, FakeGod. That's despicable. As we do have Tomio also completing his Sundered Sky Essence Reaver there for Tactical. Ghost will answer in kind with his own. You can see that Estral maybe don't have the advantage they would want, cresting over into that mid game. We will have more objectives coming up for a little while. About 2.5 minutes on the Dragon here, but Estral really need to use some of these in-between moments to find any kills they can. And so far, they've been playing extremely reserved. We still haven't really seen the link-up of Cody and SolidSnake.
Yeah, outside of the first 7 minutes, right, Mazel? Is there were a couple skirmishes around mid, but after the grubs have spawned, there's been nothing. And yeah, we're both pretty aligned in the importance of keeping this game quick for Estral. So yeah, I seen Eclipse on the Lee Sin. I mean, it's kind of time to get involved and get active on SolidSnake. Just curious if he's able to find anything here.
Zeyzal again, this trio already out of the map. He has spent so much time just hovering around Tomio and Insanity, just looking to unlock them. And now LG are the ones that are feeling zealous as they move over, clear out some of this vision that had been established by Estral. We also do have the bot lane almost going down to FakeGod, as LG are looking to try to make some marks onto the feats of strength.
Look at the entertainment down here. Oh. Well, if you miss the body slam, your cooldown doubles.
Damage, man. It's not fair. Shintalx, I feel for you.
Whatever kind of power he's able to get from at least cosplaying Gragas at some point. And of course,
bro. What kind of music is Shintalx listening to right now? What's getting him through this?
Hopefully none.
Is this some T-Swift?
No,
Cubby?
You got a max focused, and you know the new T-Swift album's bad when everyone's only sharing like 2 songs. Usually, if it's a good album, you see your friends share like 5. It's only 2 guys that you're seeing, and then the other one that you're not seeing is like, oh, haha, that one's inappropriate. Why did she write that? Oh my God! As we see FakeGod. Gotta go and stop. He's gonna catch Winsome though, and I don't think he's that scared.
I don't think he is either. Almost got the turret there in the end. I'm imagining the I show speed meme as Shintalx right now. We'll see if he can still have that team-wide aspect coming into these fights as they continue to kick off. But Zeyzal and Tactical will reposition up towards topside. I do not think LG want to give over that Rift Herald And give a little bit more prio up there as they're actually looking for a play. There's a play happening in the bot side, but this is a level 10 Sion. The turret's doing work here. He's buying so much damn time. It will not be time enough, though. They get first blood finally, and there won't be the trade in the top side. So Estral coming out big.
All right, getting that ult out of the Sion early ended up being kind of worth it. It is still first brick going over to Luminosity Gaming as SolidSnake is going to start this dragon. I believe Insanity is aware, and I don't believe that LG can contest, so they're going to have to get the dragon. They do lose out on the first brick. Should get that brick a little bit later, though, with the 3 grubs and plates falling. I think Ghost should be able to take this one down. And not a bad play from Estral.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's something in their favor, which is
a win for sure.
Far from that game number 1, as they did end up finding the play on Pate. It flashes on the other side of Tomio. Ghost in a little bit of trouble now. He's going to have to back away. Doesn't get hit by the boomerang blade. SolidSnake. He's looking for the follow through on a tactical, and that angle looks good. Estral finally doing what their comp desires and feasting on LG.
Good TP, Shintalx. Be there for your team, man. That's exactly what they needed as Ghost flashed in Shintalx's TP. Gets Ghost and Estral out of there with another kill, and they cut into that gold lead a little bit from Luminosity Gaming. So I don't know how much longer in the game they're going to actually be able to find plays onto this Sion. I think Sion gets way too tanky for the comp outside of this Xayah.
He definitely went with the damage first, too, so... maybe a little bit of a different story if he's a little bit tankier, but they took advantage of it nonetheless. Feeling really good from Estral to see some proactivity. But again, time is not their friend, and Winsome, he's going to have to dash out with the grand entrance, make his way away, but the Rift Herald play is under LG's ire.
I don't see a contest here from Estral. I think SolidSnake's just going to commit to the bot side, and if anyone shows up against that LeBlanc, they're going to go for it, but no one's showing from LG on that side of the map. Herald taken down. Luminosity Gaming gets back to their objective ways, but we're going to take another look at what happened down here. As it looks like
Ghost
Tomio was trying
in front of the vault breaker.
Yeah, it looks like Tomio was trying to take... we stop the recall, get a little bit cheeky here, and play around with the tempo, and he gets out of there, but Tactical does not. So losing the Sivir there, pretty big deal, as Estral able to take that Sivir off the map and get some gold into Ghost, importantly. I think throughout that play, he got the first brick, he got the kill onto the Sion, and that's a big positive moving forward.
It is indeed. The Xayah will be the hyper carry of this comp. Even if we don't speak of Xayah in super hyper carry terms, it is still like the saving grace and damage for Estral.
Yeah, I mean, again, if anyone's going to get through Sion later on, it really is Xayah and no one else. And that is still kind of the concern that I see with Estral is that, yes, we have had a couple of positive plays go their way, but big picture, it's a 1.5K gold lead for the team with VIktor, Sivir, and the Sion. I think the best news, if you're an Estral fan, is that Ghost is ahead of the Sivir. So that, I mean, that's a small win, but I feel pretty good about Sivir being able to auto-attack this game if Sivir is not one-shot. And I think the ability for Nautilus to hold the line with Vi is quite good.
This was a play set up by Estral on the other side of the Hex Gates, though LG are tanky as hell here, and the double knockup as Winsome gets locked down. SolidSnake is the focus now, and he will be taken out. Meanwhile, Cody tries to go and instantly gets his clone popped as the Arcane Storm is going. It is Estral that try to pull a quick play on LG, but come up with nothing.
Free farm for Shintalx up top. That's the saving grace. I don't think that's exactly what Estral wanted, but
they didn't expect the tanky bodies there, man.
No, I mean,
you
again,
see a bunch of hex gates being activated, and then there's 3 just beefy bodies walking out at you. I think it's a little bit tough.
Again, the Sion is so big. So yeah, it's pretty tough to move FakeGod.
Feels tough. And now about 3,000, almost 2.5K for LG as we get a redeploy onto the map. About a minute and 10 seconds for the next dragon. Will be the first of the Hextech Soul dragons. So we'll see if LG can get that one under their belt here and get a second dragon, or if Estral are going to keep focus on these objectives, which they've done very well so far. But I will note that Tomio also has the Rift Herald in his back pocket.
Dragon going to be spawning here in 45 seconds. I think that Rift in the back pocket, Mazel, likely to see that one emerge here is...
Oh,
yeah, no, go to live, go to live, go to live.
Okay, we got the pick out there. They try to end up finding a play, but Winsome gets caught out. LG, they just full 5-man stack in the mid lane and say, this is truly the name ram you asked for, Estral. As they find another pick, they find another lockdown, and SolidSnake can depth charge through the backline here. The Rift Herald's going to come in, try to get the turret down as well. This is a detrimental lead going the way of LG for Estral's hopes here. Their mechanical execution was not up to par so far in the early game, and I feel like we're reaching that precipice where LG is unstoppable.
Yeah, that look from Winsome just a little bit too deep and a little bit desynced, as Shintalx not up yet in range to really help out, and LG has that 5-stack. They were playing on that mid wave to get prio for this dragon. They were playing on that mid wave to drop Herald to get further prio for this dragon. I think Estral trying to contest them in that scenario with not all their pieces there. For me, it's pretty telegraphed that you're going to have LG play through mid with the Rift Herald, given the comp they have and how they want to get that objective. So I think trying to fight them the way before was a little bit of miss. Like, you know that LG is going to be there. So, yeah, that was a bit of an interesting one for me. And now it's a 4K gold lead coming in, and Snake might be in trouble.
But look how confident LG are feeling now with their scaling item coming online here. They end up finding the counterplay on Estral as the Arcade Storm is not even going to be used just yet. As trying to find an angle. Is Estral in the pit? They're going to get the clone out. SolidSnake tries to go for the... What's SolidSnake? He tried to go for the predict on FakeGod, but instead FakeGod turns it back around. Now Shintalx is in the pit, but he is not going to do too much. Ghost is in some trouble now. He gets boomerang bladed and taken out in the end. A double kill for FakeGod, and LG balloon this one up to almost 5,000 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason this fight looked close is the fact that Tactical wasn't able to auto-attack until he flashed in. And I don't mind the fact that he played this one a little bit slower because... A, you want to save your flash on Sivir. And B, you want to make sure you enter the fight at the right time if you do enter that fight. And he did. Tactical waited out a few big cooldowns, was able to get in, get involved, and make sure that LG won that one at the end.
Really interesting stuff as Estral continuously try to find plays here or there. A couple things not lining up for them. They are on second item now for Ghost. We had seen that Lord Dom's completed a while back for him. That scaling cannot come fast enough for Ghost. The only piece that feels like we'll have a say later on. But unfortunately, if you don't have the team comp in front of you, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. As now LG, they have taken that momentum and they are like bloodthirsty dogs running after their prey. It's going to be Cody getting locked down by Tomio. The rest of LG can't really join, but Tomio's about to take him down by himself. The depth charge comes over and the laser beam from Insanity signals the charge from LG as an unstoppable onslaught right onto Ghost. So much damage there from that Sion coming through. He's going to try to go for the decimating smash. Doesn't find the lockdown, but they will find the lockdown onto Shintalx. As that's going to be a big pick onto the top laner of Estral.
Oh, I wonder what the cosplay is for the gray screen there from Shintalx. As sad that he falls. And Luminosity Gaming, again, they have the scaling advantage in this draft. And FakeGod, yes, he fell once early on, but this Sion, we were concerned about the damage that Lee Sin the Blanc were going to do later on. It definitely was going to be dealt to the Sion. And, well, if you're the Blanc's forced to run around to fight like that, if you have the Vi just hunting you and making sure that you can't really have a fight onto the backline of LG, that's a tough task, as I think Lee Sin the Blanc into Vi. A little bit of a bold pick there, one that Luminosity Gaming is taking full advantage of.
Again, we said it from the draft. This was absolutely a setup where Estral said, we are just going to try to outpace you. It is a test of ourselves and what we can do against LG, and unfortunately, they came up failed in that test as LG have reached at least close to what they needed to. 3 items is going to be really huge for them, but doesn't feel like anybody can stop this LG team fighting, which all 5 together is so scary. And while we don't have another objective for about a minute and a half, we're going to have dual objectives with the Baron up and the Dragon. That would be sole point for LG.
I mean, there's no pressure for them to take the Dragon. This kind of LG is so far ahead that they kind of have nothing to do but delete waves here. I mean, truly.
But guys, we didn't expect to be ahead. What do we do now?
It's they've already taken the Otacon. There's no dragon spawning in this timer. They're just kind of waiting for objectives to come back and get back to being available. As objective and Cody.
That might be the objective they're looking for. He goes back to his clone, and I don't think he's going to make it out of that one. That's going to be a lot of gold. 370 to be exact, going in Insanity, and now it is just Estral running out of options.
I think he thought that the dredge line would connect with the wall, and then he gets depth charged wherever he goes, so just trying to avoid the depth charge range. Risky snake.
Okay. A little bit late on the follow-up. Ghost wasn't in range just yet. The Blade Collar combo will be there with the Featherstorm. Gives the shutdown over to Ghost, so some of that damage coming through now, but that will just be Zeyzal down. They still have FakeGod as the front line.
This poor Gragas is level 12, man. Shintalx has just been... He's got a TP.
He hasn't gotten Flame Horizon. That's
I know.
That's
I think if
win.
you're Shintalx, though, you got to just go find a wave to farm if you got TP up, because being level 12 is... I know he's trying not to lose the game for his team, but if you get this far behind, then it's kind of a tough spot to be in if you're him, too. So... Man, I mean, a kill, a shutdown onto Zeyzal, but still, it's only a shutdown out of the support. A lot used for that. And just getting one is FakeGod. Gonna tank up everything, and SolidSnake got caught.
Oh, he's trying to get out now. Cody goes back in for some damage. Tomio's just hunting Ghost now, but he's a little bit overextended. Dredgeline comes through from the grave. Zeyzal comes back to try to get something. Shintalx is the front line, but he's getting decimated, smashing that level 12. Gragas cannot hold the front line. Tactical goes on a killing spree. SolidSnake gonna be found to be behind enemy lines, but FakeGod and Tactical, they're gonna try to run down Cody here too. He's gonna get the pull back to his clone, but it's not gonna be nearly enough, and FakeGod goes on his own killing spree now. As finally SolidSnake is going to be found out by Insanity and Zeyzal. They will try to take him down, and he's under turret, so it'll be an easy does it. As a big shutdown had gone over, SolidSnake did kill Tomio, but it's still a 7,000 gold lead for Luminosity.
LG are going to reset and try and take that Hextech Dragon off the map, as I think that's where they're going to go first. That said, if they start heading towards the top side, they might think about the Baron. No, going to go to the Dragon and try and get themselves that soul point, as really feels like the Estral comp, they were on a timer. I think we're already in the point or the camp where they've run out of time. Outside of Ghost Heroics, it really has to be where any hopes for Estral rides on, as he is the only player that's really close in items to their counterpart. And with the Infinity Edge now completed, we'll see if Ghost can have a pop-off fight, but keeps on looking more and more difficult for him and for Estral as this game moves forward, and as Luminosity Gaming lock down soul point for themselves.
Yeah, 3 items is going to feel good, obviously. You'll have a little bit of that fight pressure. We saw him already be able to kind of melt through Zeyzal as well. There's a couple other members you're going to have to deal with here. But I do love that Estral have not stopped looking for things, because you're not going to win the scale. You just have to find anything you can. And they're still looking to this very moment. They've got LG surrounded. But you got to remember, this is a meatball comp from LG. And I don't think Estral really like meatballs that much. As SolidSnake will be found out by Tomio. They're going to get the decimating smash on top of him too. He just can't move. He is CC'd to oblivion. And that will be the signal that LG needed to try to take the rest of this fight, as the flank has been initiated by Tomio. He's going to try to find Shintalx. He won't find him. Shintalx goes back in, trying to find the belly pop, but now finds himself amongst 5 members of LG as Tactical goes on his own rampage. The Arcane Storm is ticking, and the winds are beating at the backs of Estral, as that Baron is already half health. Ghost looking for a mega flank right now, but he could just get caught out. He still has the Featherstorm. They're going to try to turn onto him. Dredgeline doesn't go through. He's going to flash onto Tactical. Ghost is stepping up to the plate right now. That 3-item spike for the world champion is maybe just enough. He's going to be a 2v4 that he's trying to take. The Blade Collar's going to come back through and do decent damage. Insanity's going to step up to Ghost. And Ghost just takes him down. No, the lockdown comes through. Insanity's still alive. The double CC bouncy castle. Ghost still finds a kill. Goes on a killing spree, but will go down in the end of FakeGod. And what a play from Ghost. The attempt to save Estral's life.
They can't reset. FakeGod's going to play bodyguard.
Oh, double TP. That's going to be Shintalx coming as well. SolidSnake has already taken this fight, but he's getting a little bit lower here. Shintalx coming in with the combo here. Belly bop as well, and they get the shutdown onto FakeGod. So it's a lot of gold going to SolidSnake.
I mean, that was the best case scenario for Estral. They make things sloppy. It's kills everywhere, but because they're behind, they get more shutdowns. And I thought the cool play in that Ghost flashing in actually set Winsome up while his ult was running to E back to the Xayah with the extended range. That charm is what caught Tactical and made him look goofy there as a really unique setup to actually get CC on the Sivir with the angle of Winsome going in on one side, then Eing with the charm active through Tactical to find him and get to the other side of the fight and kill Ghost, who had a massive fight. He burned everything, all the sums in that one, but I think it was well worth it as Ghost did his damnness to try and carry.
Dude, I love to see Ghost go Super Saiyan. Just try to make this a little bit more even for Estral. He's been a guy that didn't show up in game number 1, but has been a key piece to a lot of their team fight win conditions throughout their run here. It's nice to see him finally show his face. 6-3 on the Xayah. And you bring him into the roster for a reason. That experience, that veterancy, the clutch moments. And it's now do or die in this game, as Shintalx is going to find a catch on Zeyzal, but Zeyzal can just take the fight right back. Yeah, Shintalx did not want that one. He has no tools to get out now, and he is down. SolidSnake tries to go for a play, tries to go for the flash, tries to go for the insect, but he will just be an insect, taken down by Tactical. He goes for a double kill, not even going to get the triple as FakeGod takes that one from him, and LG are going to end the game here. No one is left to stand against the tide of Luminosity Gaming. Let the light shine through as they move themselves to match point.
Shintalx, though it was looking at least a little bit better. I think this one was over either way for Estral, but they at least show some fight, show some grit around the Baron. But not enough fight early on, as the Lee Sin LeBlanc had to get going, and it felt like they only got flashes, they only got chunks, they only got 1-for-1s. They didn't get anything game-breaking in that early game going their way. And Luminosity Gaming able to scale up, scale into the game, and be the better team when grouping up with a better comp that was stronger.
Got to give big shout outs to Estral in a game that if you didn't have a lead by 15 minutes, things were going to be tough. The fact that they continuously looked for plays, that they continuously, SolidSnake just trying to force plays. I love to see that angle from them instead of kind of backing down and not doing anything. And even if they were down 7,000-8,000 gold, they were still able to find pullbacks with those shutdowns as well. But it is still not enough, and now they find themselves on match point to being eliminated from the promotion tournament.
Yeah, we both had 3-0 for LG. I think that how the first two games have gone, wouldn't be too surprised if you would have told me that we'd be here in this scenario, and the first two games looked how they did, with, I think, FakeGod finding big advantages and actually being able to drive these home, unlike what we saw against Yanni the other day, where he was able to get advantages, but the rest of the map went the side of Estral, and then he was never able to actually use his advantages to kind of get back and win the game. There were some heroics from Ghost in that game and in that fight, and look, the hopes for Estral really rode on him later on when the rest of the comp that needed to really get ahead early did not. He was the only one that was even. Ghost did his damnness to try and carry, so I think that's a saving grace or a decent sign if you are an Estral fan, but still, we expected the match to look like this today, and frankly, LG being up 2-0 in the fashion they've done it so far, not the biggest surprise.
Yeah, we're going to have a long conversation about what and how Estral get back in this series, if they can. After a short little break, we'll be breaking down that game 2 and talking about game number 3.